Are you looking for killer graphics, a great logo, a promotional video, or even the coolest animations? Well, look no further than Kendall Peters Designs. Affordable work with that creative flair that you always need in your designer. Let Kendall Peters Designs make your product or service sparkle. Go to www.kendallpeters.com. That's KENDLEPETERS.com. KendallPeters.com. She'll make your business look fantastic. All right, it is Aftershocks right here on AFTERSHOCKSTV.com. And joining us today to talk about his band's great new release, Comatose, is the band Ghost Iris. It is Jesper Vincencio. Vincent. Jesper, how are you, man?
Close. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm tongue-tied here. I'm tongue-tied because
it's a name. Just call me the first name. That's fine.
I'll call you Ghost Iris guy. How's that?
yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Well, dude, like I was just telling you before we got started, man, loving the record. It is just, it is what it is. It's metalcore at its absolute best, metalcore or modern metal or whatever we're calling it these days. But it's just such a solid record, man. So congratulations on all fronts there, man.
Thank you, man.
Sure.
I'm really, really proud of it as well. And I'm really looking forward to getting it out there for everybody.
Well, and people definitely need to hear it. And for people that don't know, it is going to be out May 7th, although there's an EP of some of these tunes that's already out there, at least on YouTube Music. Talk a little bit about that decision before we get into the record itself. Why did you decide to release some of the tracks ahead of the full album?
Well, it's like we've done that with all our albums, actually. It's just I would almost call it like mostly 3 songs is like a standard way of creating some hype with music videos and all this stuff. And in this case, we decided to go with 4 because we just thought that those 4 were really strong. And in this time with that thing that we will not speak of because I'm so tired of it, that thing that engulfs the whole world right now. We needed to do something, something needed to happen because shows were not happening, which is like the main way of promoting new music and your music and your band in general. So that's basically why that we decided to release a total of 4.
Sure. Yeah. And it makes sense. It's definitely for people that are hearing this before May 7th, it gives them a good taste of what you do. And people should definitely check it out. I want to start a little bit back. I want to go back one release to Apple of Discord, which is a fantastic release as well.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about how you guys changed and developed from there, though, because there are a few, at least to my ears, a few distinct differences. One, it just seems like the newer album is, for lack of a better term, it's a little more angry. It's a little bit more aggressive. Not that the last one was any kind of light at all, but it does seem like it's a little more angry and a little more thick in the guitar sounds and stuff. Am I reading something into that, or did you guys come in with a little bit heavier of a purpose?
You're correct. I would agree completely. It's I think it's mostly the fact there's a lot more power chords, more of like a hardcore feel. Not old school hardcore, but like some the classic power chords and all that, like heavy rock riffs and all that. It definitely plays into it, and it is not as noodly, it's not as shreddy. It's more simplistic because we wanted to make music that was complicated enough, but not that complicated so that we would not be able to perform it and make a great show live. We're all about live shows, and we really love. It's like some weird mix between metal and gymnastics. So we go completely nuts, and like 99 out of 100 times, it's paid off because people really, really enjoy it. So, and we love doing it as well. So yeah, you read into it completely correct.
Sure.
For sure.
And then obviously for the metal purists out there, the big news, I guess, is that you somehow convinced my personal friend Mark Hunter to come out of retirement, put his camera down, and pick up a
Oh yeah.
microphone again. Talk a little bit about that. Did you know Mark before, or did you just reach out and send him music, or how did that come about?
Well, it was actually our guitarist Niklas. He,
Okay.
you know, the internet is the brave new world, and you have everybody at your fingertips. You just have to write them, and sometimes you get a yes, sometimes you get a no, sometimes you don't get an answer at all. And Niklas got an answer, and
Okay.
then Mark listened to it, and I'm guessing he liked it because here we are. So that's it. That's how it happened, and
No.
we apparently it was good enough for him to, as you say, put down his camera. I think he's still doing his camera stuff, I
Sure.
guess. But yeah, that made him want to be on that song, and that's a huge honor. I listened to the Impossibility of Reason
Oh yeah.
whenever that came out, which is a long time ago,
Mhm.
and I remember I used to go to the library and loan it from the library on CD.
Right.
You could actually loan it there. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's great. It's really
Well,
good.
and to me anyway, it seems like certainly your guitar player, and it seems like you as well. Seems you guys are both very influenced by Chimaira. I mean, if you listen to
For sure.
either of the last two releases, there are definitely songs that remind me of. I forget which song it is on the new release, but there's one that just reminds me of that riff of "Nothing Remains" or something from Chimaira, and I'm just like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is very welcome to hear.
Oh yeah. I mean, Niklas and Sebastian, and well, Daniel and I as well. We've listened a lot to Chimera back in the day. For me, it's been some time though, but still planted a seed
Sure.
some time back.
Definitely has. Oh, yeah, believe me, as a friend of Mark, I live in Cleveland, so I've known Mark,
Yeah.
for his whole life, really, or his whole
Okay.
run anyway. And anybody to get him back to playing music is doing a good thing in my book. So congratulations on that, man. That is
Thank you.
very. I can tell you for a fact there's a thousand bands here in Cleveland that are envious of you guys for nothing else that you're able to get him in front of a microphone. So
Apparently we brought the goods, and he liked it. So
no question, man. Well, Jesper, since we're talking about Comatose, talk a little bit about the writing of this release. Obviously, the C word has enveloped everybody, and I'm assuming you wrote
mhm.
most of this during the last year. How different has it been to write? Over this time period with all the shutdowns and the just lack of knowledge of what's coming next. It's hard to make a plan to do a record and tour and all that stuff. How difficult has this been for you?
Well, I mean, we actually started writing it before the C word,
Okay.
and but we recorded it during the C word, and it was. But yeah, this whole feeling of not knowing what's going to come up next, it just sucks in every aspect, both as a musician and in every other aspect of everybody's lives, right? I mean, I was so lucky that I have a job that's in e-commercing, so it's
Okay.
just I have a laptop and an internet connection. I could sit in the Maldives if I wanted to. Uh, so I was not affected in any way, salary wise. But yeah, it's been bad. It's been really crappy. But I mean, I thought we've been dealing with it pretty nicely, and now we're about to release our fourth album, and we're 4 singles deep, and yeah, it's been a crazy time for everybody, but I'm hoping with this vaccine stuff that it's gonna help a little bit and that shows can happen again, because that's basically why we make music. Of course,
Sure.
we love making music, but we love playing it live. We're a live band for sure.
Absolutely. And you guys, not only are you a live band, for people that are unaware, you guys might be the most daring live band out there just because you're willing to play in front of some audiences that I would imagine are tremendously difficult. Like I was reading through your press, and the one that jumped right out at me was that you opened for Dream Theater at one point. And I was like,
Yes.
wow, that had to be a very difficult time to meet their progressive noodly music with your in your face bombs of songs. Was that
Yeah.
hard?
It really was. But when you when you go into it with a positive mindset and you show to people. We played one of the shows. There was 4,000 people, which is the biggest show we've ever played in a huge tent. When you go into it with a big smile on your face and you just show like that you really mean business and that it's okay that you necessarily do not like, that you don't necessarily enjoy our music, but at least check out our live show. And I hope we can prove something to you, and we actually did, because a lot of people were clapping and everything. People were very respectful. I don't know, maybe it's because Dream Theater's audience is not some spoiled brats. They're
Right.
a little older. So yeah, they recognized that we meant no harm. We were there to play, and we respect that they were there to see Dream Theater. Of course we knew that. Like, who are we kidding?
Sure.
But it was great, and I've never really listened to Dream Theater myself, so
Okay.
but it was still a huge honor. I know who Dream Theater is. I know everything,
Sure.
Petrucci and all that stuff. I forgot the lead singer's name now. Sorry.
James Labrie.
Labrie, exactly. He was so nice that he actually came out and told us that we did a great job, which is like, he didn't have to do that.
Sure.
He could go and do whatever he wanted to, but he decided to come out and say that, and that just shows you what type of person he is, and
Sure.
the fact that there's not only rock star a-holes out there.
Right.
There's actually real people behind all this as well. So that was a huge pat on the shoulder. It was really nice.
Okay. Now I'm curious, and you don't have to answer this one if you don't want, but did you move any merch that night?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
Not a huge amount when you think about the fact that there was 4,000 people there, but still pretty good.
Okay.
For a band that was completely out genre-wise, and that nobody knew, so it was pretty good.
No, that's cool, and it's cool then that you even if you made 5 new fans out of 4,000, it's 5 you wouldn't have reached. You wouldn't have reached the other way probably. So
exactly.
That's a good move, certainly. So Jesper, let's move back to the album a little bit. We were talking a little bit about the recording. How did you guys record this time? Were you still able to get together to write, or did you do it through file sharing and Zoom sessions, or how did you put it together this time?
For me personally, I'm really glad that we did not do it through all these virtual meetings, because with all due respect, I really don't like it.
Right.
But I mean, for this, it's great. For talking, it's great. But for like writing music, that would be hard for me, I think. But of course, if we had to do it, we would do it. But no, we all live within 20 minutes of each other. So we live in the same city, and we have our rehearsal space and all that. So we just come together, and yeah, it was great. We just we wrote our music like we always did. Like the pandemic was not really a thing in our minds almost.
Sure.
Even though Niklas and Sebastian got the C word at one point. Yeah. So there was some months where, and because they both work in, Niklas works with elderly people.
Okay.
And Sebastian works with like young kids at that point. He did at that time. So we had to call it off for some time. But the album was already done and recorded at that point, so it was no problem. But we're already writing new music. We already have like a new EP ready almost.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we're always on the forefront. We always want to be no stagnation. We want to keep it moving.
Right. Well, you definitely don't want to put that out yet, because people have a lot of music to absorb with this one. For me personally, stuff like Cold Sweat or Cult or Paper Tiger are all such great songs, as well as Desert Dread with Mark on it. So for you personally, which one of the new songs on Comatose are you most comfortable with, or do you feel like came out the best? And not necessarily from a singer's perspective, but as a band, what do you think hit the mark the closest this time?
Well, I actually Cult and Cold Sweat, those two I really, really enjoy playing, and I really think they're very strong songs as well.
Okay.
But there's also another one that's obviously not out yet, but one called Ebb and Flow, which is like a more, you call it like more ballady song from us, as ballad as it can get from Ghost Stars at least.
Right.
Like we made a song with pure like clean vocals, only clean vocals. We've never done that before. We were actually in the studio, and there's a part in the song which kind of calls for screaming or growling or whatever, but we decided, nah, let's just go with only clean vocals. Let's try and do it, and I think it came out really well, and it's a very different mood in that song, which is great for create some more dynamics in the album as a whole. So yeah, those songs, but there's also one called Coda. Sometimes I shift around because there's one called Coma and one called Coda. So I'm like, well, which one is which? But the one called Coda, it's an unrelenting song, and people should really look forward to that one.
Sure. With the clean vocals, is that you that does the clean vocals, I'm assuming?
Yeah, all vocals. It's me.
Okay. Were you comfortable with it? Have you sang clean vocals like in other bands or something before?
No, this is the first band I've ever done it in.
All right, so humor me on this. How did you feel when you listened to it? Did you listen to it and you're like, that doesn't sound good at all? Did you scream, or are we like, yeah, this is cool?
Do you mean it on this most recent album, or on the first one we did?
On the first one, or just when you hear yourself do a clean vocal, because you obviously are not. It's not your forte. It's not where you. It's not what you try to do. It's what, or in fact, it's probably the other way. It is what you have to try to do. Whereas the more scream vocal, you can just let loose and it happens.
Yeah. Well, it's. I remember the first time on our very first album, if you put it on, put a song from Comatose on and one on our first album, Anecdotes of Science and Soul, put those two songs on and put them next to each other. You just go shift between them with the clean vocals, and you can definitely hear a huge improvement, because I was obviously back then I was not as skilled in it, because I had only done it for a few years at that point. But now we're down the pipe 6-7 years more, and that's a tremendous difference. And I actually, this time around, this is the first album with Ghost Iris and with clean vocals that I've ever done where I wasn't listening back to it and being like, ugh, that sounds like shit. But I was very proud of it, actually. So it was a great feeling. It was a walk in the park in the studio this time around. It was great.
Excellent. Now, Jesper, the new album is being put out by Long Branch, who's they have a great reputation as an indie label. But what do they bring to a band like Ghost Iris? Is it simply the fact that they help you reach a lot of people, or is it a financial type of a deal with them, or what is it about Long Branch or any label, I guess, that a band like yours, appreciates?
I mean, with labels, it's definitely they make us reach people that we would otherwise not be able to reach, because they have great promotional plans, and they're obviously this is what they do, and none of us are marketing people or promoters or anything, so it definitely helps in that regard. And there's also a financial thing behind it, but it's not like they pay everything, but they definitely they help us go a long way, so it's really good.
Right. And I have to imagine, as far as the promotional stuff or the marketing stuff goes, that's in today's world, that's got to be the biggest key, just because there's not an MTV out there anymore. There's not a, I know everything is on YouTube and Spotify and all these places, but correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see that necessarily as a positive for a smaller up and coming band like yours, because you get lost in the shuffle of bands that have 20, 30, 40 years, even the 40-year, 50-year bands still get the lion's share of the attention, which is not good for the scene. No,
I agree. It's too bad that I remember MTV2, the channel called MTV2 was great. They had more alternative music and all, but those times have come and gone, right? They're not really there anymore. But I still believe wholeheartedly that if you make music that's good enough, people will notice it somehow. It will get spread like a virus in a good way. Because there's a lot of bands on Spotify, for example, that it's not bad music, but it's just not amazing either. It's like mediocre, I guess, like 5 out of 10 kind of thing. And of course, it won't get spread the same way as if you make like a real, like, people recognize good stuff, they recognize good music. Of course, I know the current mainstream charts would suggest otherwise with the WAP song by Cardi B and all that stuff. But you know what I mean? Like, it's people. I think people can recognize it when it's good stuff, and they will back it by listening to it, just by listening to it. That's all they need to do.
Definitely. Do you think that outlets, and I know you use this, like Bandcamp, are better for bands because it's more focused? You know, if you like a style of music, it's a whole lot easier to find quality bands on Bandcamp. To me, anyway, it's a whole lot easier to find quality bands on Bandcamp than it is to dig through YouTube or Spotify or YouTube Music or anything to find them. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I've never really used Bandcamp too much though, but it's definitely a more like a niche kind of platform where you can find a lot of good stuff. I'm just so used to the Spotify layout, you know how it is, like old habits die hard. It's just I just use Spotify mostly, and I realize that they probably don't pay as well as a lot of other streaming services do, but I'm one guy.
Right. Yeah. Somehow I don't think you're putting your music on Spotify trying to get that big check at the end of it.
No, not really. No.
Well, Jesper, certainly, you guys have been a do-it-yourself type of a band, and you've earned your following so far the old-fashioned way, playing constantly, 1 fan, 2 fans, 5 fans, 10 fans, whatever it is at every show that you gain. And then the last year hit where you guys stopped dead. I mean, does it really feel to you like Ghost Iris as an entity has really just paused right now because of the pandemic?
On the live front, yes, but otherwise, no. The train keeps rolling. We write music all the time, and even during those months where 2 of the band members had the C word and all that and were out, I'm a very like, when it comes to music, I'm very meticulous. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those 2 days, I have to get in those 3 hours each day where I just practice vocals. And if it's by myself or if it's with the band, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do it if they're not there. I'm there every Tuesday and Thursday from whatever time to whatever time. So no, it still seems like it's going, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, like, wow, when am I ever going to be able to use this again? I'm practicing all these details and this refining my vocals and all that, but when am I going to be able to use it? Because there's no live shows. But we're playing on the May 7th. The day the Comatose comes out, we're playing a release show for like 42 people because that's all they can allow. Seated, no yelling because spreads germs. Yeah, that whole thing. I'm getting like flashbacks to who was it? That Anthony Fauci guy, and like he said in New York. Remember to, when you eat at restaurants, remember to put your mask on between bites.
Come on, stop it.
What the fuck, man? Come on. What is this? It's 1984. What is this? I don't know.
Dude, that whole thing with the people sitting and clapping, I'm older, and I was stationed in Korea for a while, and I used to go and catch, when I was in the military, I lived in Korea, and I used to catch concerts in Japan. I used to go over.
Oh, really?
The concerts would stop in Japan, and this is before Japan was like, kind of like, modernized, I guess. So you would go, I would go to these shows and I'd be like losing my mind. I'd be like, for like Guns N' Roses or Skid Row or whatever was playing at the time. But all of the Japanese people were like, this.
Oh yeah.
And I'm envisioning that for this is see you guys just thrashing about on stage and the people going, bravo.
It's we've played in Japan and China, actually. China was Japan is pretty modern, I would say, but China was still a little bit like what's going on? But some of the places they went completely apeshit, actually. So there's a lot of variation there.
Absolutely, man. Well, at least you're getting to get out and play, and then you guys obviously have tour dates scheduled. Let's hope that they hammer. But you have tour dates in November, is that right?
November and December. Yeah, we have quite like two tours are like pretty close to each other, actually.
Okay. Are those your
Fingers crossed.
solo tours, or are you guys playing with somebody?
No, we're playing with. We're actually. It's not. It's. What do you? It's been so long, I almost forgot the word. Support tours. We're supporting a band called Skywalker in November, and then a band called Envisions in the UK in December. Yeah.
Very cool, man. Well, dude, it sounds like if the world plays along, it sounds like it's going to be a good year for Ghost Iris. And even if the world doesn't play along, you're still getting a great CD. It's called Comatose. It is out May 7th. And where would you like us to tell people to go to keep up with the band and get the tour dates and follow you on social media and all that stuff?
We're very much an Instagram band.
Okay.
Our website is not up and running yet, but we're gonna get there one day. But on Instagram, if you press the link in the bio, you get everything: the tour dates and where you can buy pre-orders of Comatose and the bundles, and links to all our music is there as well. But we'll otherwise listen to us on Bandcamp and Spotify. Check us out on YouTube as well. You can. I assure you, if you put in Ghost Iris, we will come up. That's for sure. We have good search engine optimization.
There you go. Perfect. Nice. Well, one more time, the name of the album is Comatose. The name of the band is Ghost Iris. And Jesper, thanks so much for joining us here on Aftershocks.
Thank you too, man.
Thanks for listening to Aftershocks. For more episodes, go to our website at www.aftershockspodcast.com. Visit us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more news and information on the podcast, and be sure to subscribe, listen to, and review all episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. For your music listening pleasure, visit our website or go to www.shockwavesradio.com. For all comments and questions, please email us at info@aftershockspodcast.com.
All right, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? And you know what else is a lot of fun? The CMS Podcast Network. That's right, CMSPN.com is the address. Make sure you go over there. Make sure you watch the episodes there, you listen to the episodes there, and maybe you even just subscribe so it's delivered to your phone, to whatever podcasting software you use, but do it from CMSPN.com. Once again, CMSPN.com, CMSPN.com, CMSPN.com. We'll see you next time, fucks.